All right, welcome back, everybody. It is Free Therapy Wednesday. Each week, we like to check in with Dr. Laura Saunders, a psychologist with the Institute of Living, for a kind of a midweek mental health boost.
Yeah, we all can use this. And June has arrived, which means that the days are getting warmer and longer. So excited we're talking about this topic. I know my family's struggling with this. So today we're going to focus on a little back to basics sleep hygiene.
Yeah, Dr. Laura Saunders is joining us from the Institute of Living. It's so good to see you, Dr. Saunders. And anything to do with sleep, Nicole and I are listening up.
We're all ears.
Right. Hello, friends. Happy Wednesday. And yes, probably people that work very early in the morning are lacking in sleep, but getting good sleep is such an important part of your physical health and your mental health. So we're just going to review some sleep hygiene, some back to basics, and guidelines on how to improve the quality and sometimes quantity of your sleep.
Yeah, you know, you can say you get a good 8 hours of sleep, but if it's not a restful sleep, it's like pointless.
Right. And there are stages of sleep. There are, REM stages and lighter and deeper and times when you're awake. So it's really understanding what works best for you. Some people track things like on a Fitbit or an Apple Watch, but it's some of the habits that we do that will create that better sleep for us.
All right. So as we were talking about, it's lighter out longer. 8 o'clock, 8:30 rolls around. If it's a beautiful evening, a beautiful sunset, I have blackout curtains in my son's room, but he knows it's light out. I think like internally his body, he's just like completely, tuned in, I guess, to Mother Nature. What do you recommend for, the kids, even if they're maybe running to the bathroom and they see a window with the light? Because my kids are so confused right now. It's sunny out at 8:30.
Right. It is harder. I mean, we want to try as much as possible not to be strict and rigid because that makes everyone unhappy.
Yeah.
But as much as possible to keep a fairly regular routine for your kids and for yourself. Now, when it is light out longer, sometimes it does mean adjusting a little bit and hoping that they sleep a little longer in the morning so that maybe those blackout curtains will allow them to sleep in a little bit longer. But sometimes people have to get up and they have schedules to meet. So it is really hard. But as much as you can be regular about your sleep cycles and your sleep patterns, the better it is overall, because it allows your body to know that this is something predictable.
True or false, alcohol, a drink before bed, will help you get a good night's sleep?
So what it can do is it can make you tired, but generally alcohol, when consumed around 4 hours before sleep, interrupts and disrupts sleep. It actually brings you more to lighter stages of sleep. So alcohol, in fact, makes you tired at first, but it disrupts your deeper sleep.
Interesting. Very interesting.
True or false, working out in the evening will keep you up longer?
Well, that I love to answer things with it depends, but we don't want intense workouts right before you go to bed. If you can push your workouts to the morning, so even I'm trying to get up earlier, get my walks in the morning, because otherwise I'm doing it at night. You want to get your activity and exercise in, but the earlier in the day you can do it, the more it's seen that it gives you energy throughout the day.
Caffeine and nicotine, you say to avoid that as well. Nicotine, that surprises me, but I'm sure there's a reason why.
Right. I mean, a lot of people say nicotine is stimulating for them, right? It fires them up. So, caffeine's kind of a no-brainer. I mean, there's lots of people, I have young people in my life that say, oh, caffeine doesn't affect me, but it affects all of us. It actually is a stimulant. So the more you can avoid caffeine closer to bedtime, the better it is. I can't have caffeine after like 3 o'clock or it affects my sleep, but I'm a older person at this point.
And you were talking about, a routine, rituals. Do you have some ideas of like a good bedtime ritual for adults and even for children?
Right. It's the little things that you do in terms of, putting on pajamas, washing your face. Some people shower at night, whatever it is that you do to kind of create that mood, turning lights down, cooling down your room. So a cool room is much better to sleep in than a warm room. So doing those little things, creating your room as like a comfy, cozy space, making sure that it's dark, because having a lot of light coming in or having a lot of lights on around you is actually really not good for quality sleep in the overnight. So the more you can create a setting that is conducive to sleep, the better it'll be.
What should we not be doing while we're in bed?
Well, there's two things you're supposed to be doing in bed. One of them's sleeping. The other, I think this is a family show, so we'll avoid that.
A little bow, chicka bow, bow.
Right. So the things that we should not be doing, we should not be working on our laptop, eating. Oh God, eating in bed. That's crumbs. I can't even think of it.
Disgusting.
So we should not be doing all the other things of life in our bed. We need to use our bed for restful sleep. Anything else should be done elsewhere. If you are someone that works from home, do not work in your bed, in your bedroom. Go somewhere else in the house and create that as your workspace. Otherwise, it creates other associations, and it, again, does not lead to restful sleep.
All right, we're out of time.
advice.
There's a couple of more items on the list. Maybe we can get to them in a future segment, but we want to thank you so much for your time.
Have a great day.
You too.
And we'll see you tomorrow on Great Day at 9 a.m.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thanks, Dr.
All
Saunders.
right, still ahead on Great Day Connecticut. A good reason to celebrate good. Oh, CELEBRATE. We're sitting down
on.
with an 8th grade student from Saunders who just tied for 10th place at the